All right, welcome back to Athlete Mental Coaching. Now, in today's video, it's a little bit different. I'm going to be talking about why most athletes have a difficult time changing their mindset and changing their habits and changing their behavior. All right, and this all starts with a story. This is something that I experienced as a coach. This was about, at this point now, 6 or 7 years ago. So this was a long time ago. And back then, I was meeting with a girl. There was a young girl that I was training. She was about 12 years old at the time, and she was very shy. I remember the first time I met her with her parents. She was very shy with me, said very little, and when I would ask her a question, she would just like nod her head like this or like say no like this. She was really nervous around me. And it was strange because after our session was over, I saw her kind of run back to her car, and I could see through their window in the car, and she was talking with her mom, and she looked all excited. And I was like, "Oh, this is weird." Like, she didn't say anything to me. And back then, what I would do is I would go watch a lot of the players that I was training. I'd go watch them playing their games, and I saw the same thing in her games. When she's out there, her teammates would never pass her the ball. She wasn't talking. She was not assertive. And I was like, wow, this is kind of strange. Like, I wonder if she even enjoys soccer. And the more we started training, I tried to figure out, well, how can I get this athlete to talk? Because right now she's in her comfort zone, which is not talking, which is being shy. And I need to challenge her and push her outside of her comfort zone. Otherwise, what's happening in her games is not going to change, right? And what was happening was she would rather stay in her comfort zone, right? Staying in her comfort zone was easier for her than breaking out of her comfort zone, right? Her not getting the ball in the games and all of that, like mentally that was hard for her. That was annoying for her. But it was easier for her to stay in that mode versus making the changes. And I started to research and do more stuff like in the background when I wasn't training her. And I was like, okay, well, what are some things that I can do personally to try to help her get outside of her comfort zone at our sessions? So this way, what we do at our sessions, that can then translate back into her practices with her team. Then that can translate back into her games. And we started doing these little exercises. And one of the things that I had her do, though, which I knew was very uncomfortable for her, but I've had hundreds of kids do this since, I asked her, I was like, when you're in school, do you ever raise your hand when a teacher asks a question? And she said no. And I was like, well, do you get nervous when the teacher asks questions because do you think that they're going to call on you? And she said yes. And I said, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this over the next 30 days. And first thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna sit at the front of the class, because I already knew this is the type of person that was, going to sit in the back of the class, didn't want to be noticed, hiding behind everyone else. And I said, first, you're gonna sit in the front of the class every day over the next 30 days at school. So the next, 4 or 5 weeks, you're gonna sit in the front of the class. That's number one. Number two, when your teacher asks any question, and it could be about any question, it could be in any subject, it does not matter. I want you to raise your hand. And I want you to raise your hand so you are forcing yourself to talk, whether you know the answer or not. It's going to get you to start talking more at school, because you're spending way more time at school than you are really at home. And you're spending way more time at school than you are here at my sessions. And you're spending way more time at school than you are with your teammates. So when we get you outside your comfort zone at school, that's gonna make everything else so much easier. And she was like, okay, like I think I could try that. And she did. And what we noticed was over like the next 30 days, she became a completely different type of person, because now she wasn't reserved. She wasn't worried about saying the wrong thing or saying anything at all. She was just saying what was on her mind. And how that translated back on, back out at the field, it was just night and day difference. She went from not talking, not asking for the ball, to demanding the ball. She went from like playing very little to becoming captain. Like that all happened over the course of like 1 year, right? But I started to see that, you know, most kids out there would have rather just been comfortable in their you know, little comfort zone, because making the changes are hard. But it's like this in life for everybody, right? People would rather just be miserable and not make the changes and just kind of go through the motions, because change is hard. Like doing what I asked her to do is not easy. I know she probably wanted to fight against that, but she ended up doing it. And then that completely changed her social life too, right? It's not just what happened on the field, it's what happened off the field, which for me is more important. And the reason why I'm telling you all of this is because a lot of kids out there, they will be told advice like, oh, you need to start doing this, or you need to start doing this. Most kids don't like making the change, because making the change requires work. Making the change is hard. And the reason why most kids don't fully make, you know, the changes, like when they get advice and they're like, hey, you should start being more proactive on the field or start communicating more. Like the reason why they don't do it is because they don't truly believe in themselves. And they don't know like ultimately why they should end up doing it. They're just hearing information. They're not getting action steps, right? And you know, that's one thing I've seen that's been a real big struggle with a lot of athletes out there, is they'll be told what to do, but they won't be told why they should do it. So if they don't know why, then they're never gonna do it. And if it requires a lot of work, a lot of kids shut down because they'd rather just stay trapped inside their comfort zone that they're already in, because that requires no work. That requires just doing the same thing that they're already doing. And that's a lot easier, right? Doing the work is harder, right? This is why elite athletes, like kids that I've worked with that have gone on and played in college, gotten scholarships, become captain, like whatever, they all do one thing very different than everyone else. What they do is they take the action steps and they execute and they implement, and they know that wherever they are at right now, right? If they want to stay in that comfort zone, they can, and it's up to them to change. It's not up to me. I can't force it out of them. I can show them, you know, what to do. I can show them little exercises like how I said it, you know, what she did at school. But the exercise doesn't really matter. It is the fact of doing it, right? Doing it and getting outside of that comfort zone. So that's it for today's video. I hope that was helpful. I want to use that story because, you know, that's something that we do with, I've done that with every single kid since then, because I saw how well that worked. And I've seen that it has changed a lot of kids' lives that we've worked with. Just that one simple thing. And if you're a parent watching this, I would challenge you to like have your kids start doing that at school. That is the opposite of what they normally do. And I can guarantee you, most kids just sit in the back of the class. They don't want to say anything. They don't want to look like an idiot when they have the wrong answer. And they just, you know, want to go through the motions. And, you know, they want to go through the motions, and that's what they want to get out of life, then fine, right? But what we do here is not, it's not that way. I like to push kids outside their comfort zone, but they have to realize why they want it. That's the key, all right? That's it for today's video. Hit that subscribe button if this is the first time watching one of our videos. If you're a parent that wants to chat with me, shoot me a text at 210-960-5771. I can set up a free Zoom call with you where I can chat one-on-one. We can learn more about your child. We can dive deeper into what's going on with our confidence. And I feel very confident that you can leave that call with actionable steps to take with you. That's it for today. See you later.